5 reasons to buy the EOS R5 in 2022.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the EOS R5 post firmware 1.6.0, which was a pretty awesome firmware. If you haven't done that yet, go ahead and do that. And if you're thinking about buying the EOS R in 2022, that's what we're going to look at in this video. Is the EOS R worth buying in 2022? Let's get into it. When people ask me if the R5 was a good buy, I would always respond with, well, that depends. Are you shooting photos or videos? For photos, the camera was absolutely awesome. For videos, the R5 suffered with overheating issues and anything over 4K 60, which limited its video abilities. Plus, if you're shooting with anything wider than, let's say, 24mm and you're shooting handheld, you're gonna experience a lot of corner wobbles, which made your videos really wonky and distracting, and clients would definitely not be into that. Now, after firmware 1.6.0, a lot of the overheating and stabilization issues that held the camera back have been fixed. It's no longer a photo-first camera with gimmicky video features. Post firmware 1.6.0, there's a strong argument to be made that the EOS R5 is the best hybrid camera on the market. It offers the best photo quality Canon has ever put in a camera. It has all the current high-end video features, including 8K RAW, and comes in at a price point that's $1,000 lower than its competition. In this video, I'm going to go over the 5 things that I think make the EOS R5 the best value for money hybrid camera on the market for those people who are looking for the ultimate in photo and video quality in one body. So the first argument I want to make in favor of the EOS R5 is value for money. I think it is absolutely amazing value for money. And I know people are going to jump on me and they're going to be like, what are you talking about? The EOS R5 is so expensive. Look at the price of the R6 or the Sony a7 IV, and then look at the R5 and it's so much more money. But look at it like this. You're getting flagship specs in the R5 without the flagship price. Now, here's the point. You have a 45 megapixel full frame sensor in the R5, which is absolutely amazing. You can shoot up to 8K RAW with the R5, which is absolutely amazing. Now look at the other cameras that can do that, right? You've got the Sony Alpha 1 and you've got the Nikon Z9, right? And those cameras are well over $1,000 more expensive than the R5. So in essence, the R5 is kind of Canon's flagship-ish camera. I don't think the R3 is the flagship. It's more of the sport shooter. And that's the one thing that the Alpha 1 and the Z9 have over the R5 is they have super fast shutter. So if you're shooting sports and you need that fast shutter speed, those are the better cameras. But if you're willing to if you don't need that super fast shutter speed, then the R5 is fantastic. You're getting flagship features in a camera that doesn't have a flagship price. So that's the first point I want to make. R5 is great value for money. All right, the second point I want to make in favor of the R5 is image quality. Now, when this camera was first launched, it was a photo-first camera, and the video specs on this camera were kind of gimmicky at best, and it wasn't really what I would consider a hybrid camera. I would kind of tell people, you could use it for video, but it's quirky and you have to deal with the quirks. But when it came to photos, the R5, right out of the box, first day it was launched, it was an amazing photo camera. 45 megapixels, super clean, crisp images. And I've been a photographer for 18 years. I have never used a camera that shot like the R5. It's just, the images are rich and full of detail. And those RF lenses are absolutely amazing. If you pick up an RF-L lens and you go and shoot pictures, whew, it is awesome. I do a lot of headshots and portraits for people, and at 45 megapixels with the 85mm f1.2, the details you pick up are just insane. I wouldn't say it's as good as medium format or Fuji GFX details. I mean, those sensors are a lot bigger, and the bigger the sensor, the better the details. But for full frame, this is absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, here's a picture of me as an example. And yeah, so you can get right in there. You can see every hair. You can count white hairs in the mustache area of my beard, and it's nuts. The detail is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, image quality, I give it an A+. I think the R5 at this point in time is the best photo camera Canon has ever made. I can't think of anything better. All right, so now I want to talk about the thing I've always wanted to talk about with the R5, and that is video quality. I mean, before firmware 1.6.0, You could get high quality video out of the R5, but it was very limited because it would overheat all the time.
Generally, you don't see that kind of behavior in a major appliance.
And it was just frustrating. And if you're on, let's say, if you're just shooting for yourself, for YouTube or for fun, whatever, you could deal with it. But if you were on set and you're shooting content for clients and the camera kept overheating and you turn it off and cool it down and it just was impossible. You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it because time is money on set and you need a camera that just you flip it on and it works. So it was a no-go. And of course, Canon came out with the R5C, which is a more like video-centric version of the R5. But now with firmware 160, the camera has changed. I guess the threshold for overheating has been raised, so you can record a lot more video in those high-end video modes without the camera overheating. And in some cases, you can just record indefinitely. I mean, it still has a 30-minute record limit, but you can record 30 minutes and then 30 minutes and then 30 minutes and 30 minutes and just keep going. So that is awesome. I mean, yeah, that's a huge win. So if you pick up the R5 and you haven't done your firmware updates, check it out. Go watch that video. I have a nice fast tutorial on how to update your firmware. But yeah, definitely now with firmware 160, the R5 has become a real hybrid camera. And the nice thing with the R5 is that you can switch between photo and video modes super fast. You can program that MFN button. So for me, the R5C wasn't an option simply because if I'm shooting a wedding and I get some photos of the bride and the groom coming down the aisle and then I want to quickly shoot some videos, you know, for a little video feature on Instagram or whatever, I can't do that. Because with the R5C, when you flip from photo to video, it takes, 10 seconds for it to like reload the new operating system for video. And then when you go back to photo, it takes another 10 seconds. So you're caught with your pants down, just waiting for 10 seconds. And that's unacceptable. But with the R5, if you're a hybrid shooter and you're shooting, let's say, a wedding and you want to flip back and forth, just hit the MFN button and now you're in video mode, now you're in photo mode, now you're in video mode, now you're in photo mode. And the other thing too that the R5 has over the R5C is you have your dual pixel autofocus. The video on the R5C uses Canon's video autofocus settings or whatever those are, but with the R5 you still get the same autofocus settings you get in photo mode, which is a huge advantage if you ask me. So yeah, I think the R5 is a fantastic hybrid camera. You get both the photo and the video side crammed into one body. And one more thing I wanted to touch on is the fact that the codecs that the R5 uses in the higher end video modes are very beefy. And if you don't have a hand machine or a newer machine for editing video, it's gonna get clunky and choppy and stuff like that. I'm running an AMD 3900X with a 2070 Super video card. And yeah, it gets kind of chunky at times. So what I do is I just convert everything into proxies and then edit the proxies and export everything using the high quality files, and that works for me. It's just one extra step in the workflow, but it's not too hard to deal with. And the other thing I want to mention is that Canon also added IPB Lite into the video option. So you can record really high quality video in a more compressed codec, so you can edit them on your PC or whatever on your computer if your computer is a little older. And for YouTube, I find that the IPB Lite makes absolutely no difference. Nobody's gonna notice the difference between like high quality video and IPB Lite. It looks really good. So yeah, just wanted to touch on those things in case you're thinking of buying an R5. Something to know. All right, number 4, I want to talk about autofocus. Now, the autofocus on this camera is absolutely superb. You can set it up to track people, track animals, track vehicles. Like, even if there's a face inside a moving car, the camera will track the face in the car as it's moving. It is absolutely nuts. Like, it's fantastic. I know Sony was the king of, eye tracking autofocus for a long time, and I still think they are. I think Canon is right up there with them. I mean, you can make arguments to, who's better at it, but I think it's just one A, one B kind of thing. They're both pretty much the same. And like the R5 is crazy good. Even like if you set it up for people tracking and it can't see the eye, it'll track the face. But if you have the box around the whole face, it'll still track the eye part of the face, even though the box isn't around the eye, which is awesome. And then you have different like tracking sensitivities. You can set up the R5 to be so like stubborn that it'll like lock onto an eye and it won't let go of the eye no matter what, even if you put something in front of the camera, which annoyed me as a YouTuber because sometimes like I want to show off a product and the camera will just focus on my eye until I put something in front of my face. See, now as soon as it sees the eye, it'll jump right back onto the eye. And Fuji, you got to work on your autofocus. It sucks. All right, so anyway, yeah, autofocus on the R5, absolutely fantastic. You want to track birds, you want to track squirrels, you want to track bears, whatever the case may be, the camera has no problems doing that. And of course, you have different adjustments. Now, the other nice thing about the R5 is you can switch between AI servo and one shot relatively quickly. You can even program buttons for eye tracking. So you can do like spot focus and then have a secondary button just for tracking eyes. I made a video about it over there. And I have like one button for eye tracking and one button for spot focus. And then you can quickly jump back into AI servo or AI or one shot. And it's just so versatile. And if you master the camera, you'll be able to shoot in any situation, no matter what. And it's awesome. I've never had any issues with the autofocus. Although I will say I've had people tell me they have issues with hunting. They've had issues with hunting. I haven't experienced any of that. Hopefully this new firmware update 160 fixes all those issues for people. But yeah, for me, I haven't experienced any of that. All right, the fifth point I want to make, and this is a bit of a stretch. I mean, if you're already shooting with a Canon camera, you understand this. And if you're coming from another system, well, then you will understand this. The ergonomics and usability of Canon cameras are absolutely fantastic. I think there's two companies in particular that really shine above everyone else in terms of those features, and that's Canon and Nikon. Just the way the cameras feel in the hand, the way it's like a glove, and then the buttons are placed in such a way that it's just very convenient and easy to get to. The R5 is fantastic for that. Also, the menu system is super easy to get around, and the Q menu on the Canon cameras is absolutely amazing. I know with Fuji, it takes up the screen, and then Sony has that little bar along the bottom. But when you hit the Q menu with the Canon cameras, there's like an outline around the edge of your screen, so you can still see what you want to see, and then all the little features around the outside. And of course, the Canon touch screen is, wow, it's super fast, it's super responsive. It's like using an iPhone. So you can quickly touch, change your settings, or you can do it manually with the buttons. You can program your buttons. You can switch modes really fast. It's a very easy camera to use. And as a working professional in the industry, for me, what is important in the camera is that it's not there. You know, like, you don't want your camera to be there. You want your camera to get the hell out of the way so you can take your mind and you can focus on the creative things. You can focus on, you know, composition, you can focus on lighting, focus on your client and making them happy or smile or get that mood out of them instead of, oh, how do I change this? You know what I mean? So the best cameras are the ones you don't even know you have in your hand. You think you understand the shot you want to create and you just boom, 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 done. Next shot, right? And I find Canon is great at that. They just get the heck out of your way. You have to obviously learn how to use the camera and master it, but once you do, everything is just so convenient to get to. You change your settings and you get your shot, onto the next thing. And that's the beautiful thing about the Canon system, to me anyway. And like I said, I think Nikon is also great at that too. That's the last point I wanted to make about the camera. I just think usability is absolutely fantastic. All right, those are my thoughts on the EOS R5. I pre-ordered this camera and I got it first day it came out, and those overheating issues that it suffered with really kind of took the wind out of my sails. And I don't think the camera lived up to its potential. But now with firmware 160 and all the firmwares before that, the camera has really started to blossom and shine and become a powerhouse. And in my personal opinion, I think in terms of like high-end hybrid cameras, I think this is the best value for money out there. If you want amazing photo quality, you want amazing video quality, you want amazing autofocus, you want great usability, menus, autofocus, and of course you have access to all these lenses. Like RF lenses obviously are incredible. The RFL lenses are like, they're on another level in terms of sharpness. But the nice thing with the R system is that all the old EF lenses are still compatible. Like autofocus, everything works fine with the new R system. So if you have old EFL glass like this 35mm f1.4, you can pop that on the R5 without any issue and get some great shots. Now, hold on a second. Do we have... Okay, so right now you're looking at footage from the R5 in 4K HQ mode without the Pro Mist filter. The rest of this video was all shot with the Pro Mist, and I just noticed it's on the 35mm. So this is 4K HQ without a Pro Mist filter, and if you're curious, let's just do a quick test. I find the R5 to be so sharp that you need a Pro Mist. And this is a Pro Mist 1/8. Boom. So just like if you notice the skin tones, it kind of softens it up. And then the light around the window gets a little glowy. So yeah, if you're thinking about buying an R5, I would suggest a Pro Mist 1/8 filter. Links, affiliate links down below. If you're interested, you want to help out the channel, go for it. And yeah, those are my opinions on the R5. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. And if you like this kind of content, definitely subscribe to the channel because I will be making more videos on the R5, the R. I do videos on photography, videography, tips and tricks, behind the scenes, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully I'll see you again in another video. All right, and with that being said, this video is over. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Really appreciate it. And if you want to see more videos on the EOS R5, check the description down below. I have a link to my blog post with all my content on the R5. So if you want to know more about the camera, go check that out. And thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Leave a thumbs up, leave a comment, and peace out. I will see you guys in the next video.